I don't think I'm understating it when I say that the buzz around the Volkswagen ID.Buzz when it came out was quite something, because for years Volkswagen had tempted us with a new modern interpretation of the Type 2. And when it came out, we were really impressed with it. In fact, we said it was a brilliant car. Apart from maybe in one small area, the seats. You see, there weren't really enough of them. Well, now there are. Welcome to this week's road test review. Welcome to the Volkswagen ID.Buzz long wheelbase, and as always, welcome to AutoEV. Now, before I start on this week's road test review of Volkswagen's ID.Buzz long wheelbase, it is of course, yes, you've guessed it folks, that time when I ask you to make sure that you're subscribed to the AutoEV channel. Then once you've done that, make sure you then press the little bell button that's down below, because that's the way you'll receive a notification of when our next video is uploaded and it's gone live. Once you've watched the video, if you do enjoy it, and I sincerely hope that you do, then make sure you give it a little thumbs up, and of course, as always, don't forget, leave us your thoughts in the comment section down below. Let us know what you think about the cars that we review, such as the Volkswagen ID.Buzz long wheelbase, and of course on the AutoEV channel on the whole. So Volkswagen's ID range. Now, when Volkswagen said they were going all electric, they started to show loads of different concept cars, which all pretty much came to fruition. You know, they had the 5-door family hatchback that became the ID.3, there was a crossover that became the ID.4, crossover coupe ID.5, big family saloon ID.7, and of course a big family estate car which became the ID.7 Tourer. But even before all of that, they'd been teasing us with a new Type 2, a camper van if you like. Nigh on 20 years they were teasing us with it, and sort of like showing, oh, we might do this and we might do that, who knows, and people just saying, for God's sake, just build it. Well, of course, back in 2022, we finally got our hands on the ID.Buzz. And as I say, we really liked it. I called it sort of like Volkswagen's TT moment. In other words, it didn't really matter what it drove like. You just want it because of the way that it looks. But in fairness to Volkswagen, we really liked the way that it drove. But there was an issue I felt with it, because it didn't really have the adaptability. It only had seating for 5, and it just didn't really have the adaptability that the things like the multivan did, or you know, the other people carriers had. And we were like, where's the sort of like the innovation inside in some respects? It's all very well looking great on the outside, but what's it going to be like on the inside? You've only got seating for 5, and even then it was just a bit basic. But Volkswagen said, well, hang on a second, we are going to do a longer wheelbase version for seating up to 7. And that's what we have here. So now even more people can get excited about the Buzz. But is it any good? However, as always, let's take a brief snapshot about what the new Volkswagen ID.Buzz long wheelbase is all about. So the ID.Buzz is now available in 2 lengths, the standard short wheelbase that we've tested before, and now the long wheelbase that we have here. The regular 5-seat short wheelbase model retains the 79 kWh battery, but the long wheelbase model gets a larger 86 kWh battery, capable of delivering a range of up to 287 miles on the WLTP combined cycle. So you can now option the Buzz with either 5, 6 or 7-seat configurations. There's also now the option of a dual motor all-wheel drive performance variant, the 340 PS GTX. And prices for the long wheelbase Buzz start at just over £59,000 and go up to just under £68,000, depending on trim levels and options fitted. Some more space, more seats, a bigger battery, which means more range, and of course the option of more performance. So is the Buzz finally here to fulfill its potential? Is this finally the Buzz that we've all been waiting for? Well, of course, the only way we can find that out is by putting it through the road test that actual car buyers trust when it comes to choosing their next electric vehicle. Now, I've put it here somewhere, I think. Oh yeah, it's the AutoEV one. Silly me. Now, we've started with styling, but obviously there's not really an awful lot to talk about, because it is the ID.Buzz, as I say, that we tested back in 2022. And it's still a great looking car, isn't it? I really, really like this thing. I love it, you know, and you see it, and the thing is, it never fails to make anybody smile. It was my daughter's birthday party yesterday, and I took her and 5 of her friends out. We all went down to this venue, you know, for a party, and I took all our friends in it. They all loved it. All their parents loved it. You know, we turned up at the doors and going, God, what a cool car, Brian. It just is, isn't it? It just makes you smile. And you can't say that about a big SUV all the time, can you? This makes me smile. The only thing I will say on difference of the styling is, if you go for the GTX model, the all-wheel drive, the dual motor one, and I will talk a bit about the GTX later on, it has a different front bumper area here. You've got the sort of arrow-shaped DRLs that you get on the other GTX cars in the Volkswagen range. You know, like the ID.3 GTX we tested the other week, and the sort of the black crossed hatch plastic grille at the bottom, as I said. So that area there looks really different. And of course you can have it in a monotone colour as well. You don't have to have the duotone. I think you should, in fairness. I think that's what really gives it its real distinction, but it is an expensive option, and again we'll talk about pricing later. But as I say, it's the Buzz that we all know and love. You get your nice LED matrix lights there, which again, really good lights, Volkswagen. I have to say, I was using the car late at night last night, you know, and the auto dim and stuff, the way it sort of like spreads the beam pattern, brilliant. Of course, you get your big Volkswagen logo there, your light bar across it. The logo doesn't light up like it does on some of the other VWs now, because I think that is just too big. But you get the light bar there, you get all the cooling down at the bottom. It's a nice little camera embedded there, and your sensor for your radar guided cruise control there. But yeah, it's the Buzz that we all know and hopefully we all love. But here's where the difference is, because the car's grown in length. 4,962 millimeters, so it's just under the 5 meters in length. They've added 250 millimeters to the car, and they've also added 250 millimeters to the wheelbase. Now that's important because they've kept the proportions right in my book. So in other words, they've not just extended out the back, they've not just, you know, pushed in anywhere else. They've proportionally made it right, you know, so it still looks like the Buzz. And it takes you a little while to realise that actually this is the longer wheelbase model. Standard car or lead-in car starts on 19-inch wheels, 20-inch in the mid-ranking model, up to 21s in a GTX, but this mid-ranking style model, I've got the optional 21s on here. Of course, you've got your privacy glass as well, which is on the back windows there, as you can really see that duotone paint finish on the side here, and the three sort of like trim pieces at the back there designed to mimic the air vents in the old car. These are the optional wheels on the car. Now, I have to admit, when some people showed the car in the US, when they first showed it there, they had this sort of like the almost retro style hubcaps, which I really like, but it just seems to be the alloys you get in the UK. So I think that's a bit of a shame in some respects. But anyway, I think I certainly would go for the optional wheels that you get on this car here. And in fairness, they don't actually harm the ride quality any. But as I say, that's where all your difference is here, folks. And round the back, well, nothing else has changed here, has it? You know, it's still the same, still looks the same. You get a nice wraparound LED tail light there, big Volkswagen logo there. It is filthy, I'm sorry about that, and I'm sorry Volkswagen, but it hasn't stopped this week. I've been so busy, and as I say, yesterday it was my daughter's party. Thankfully I had the car, you know, so we had six 11-year-olds in the car yesterday, taking them out to a place, and they all loved it. And as I say, that's the thing, sort of the parents, I don't think I'd have got the same reaction if I turned up and say a Land Rover Discovery or even a Kia EV9. People just love this thing. Makes you smile, and a car should make you smile. What else have we got? Rear wash wiper, obviously, high level brake light, cameras tucked up underneath there, but it has got a little washer nozzle, so that does clean itself. Of course, you still get the white plastic lettering, which I don't really like on the IDs, but there you go. Parking sensors around the bottom as well. Nice and neat, very smooth, and of course tailgate goes right down to the bumper level, and we're going to talk about practicality next. Right. Don't need to harp on about how it looks, because as I say, I think it looks fantastic. But it doesn't really matter what I think, does it? Because it matters more what you think, because you guys are out there potentially buying these cars. So let me know what you think about the Volkswagen ID.Buzz. As I say, they've certainly made it better in terms of stretching it, you know, done a stretch Armstrong on it, but proportionally I think they've kept it right. So would this tempt you? If you're now looking for a 7-seater, would you still prefer your ubiquitous SUV, or would you now go, actually, now that does make a lot more sense? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Right, this is where things start to change, okay? So, with all 7 seats in place, you still have a boot, and it's 306 litres, okay? Now, let me just explain, 306 litres is still the size of a small to medium-sized family hatchback. It's more than you get in the GWM Aura 03 that I tested the other week. And if you think about it, I've just wrote a couple of things here down. It's only 79 litres smaller than an ID.3 hatchback. So that's not bad, actually. And to give you another idea, on my other channel, House of Cars, so if you're interested in non-electric stuff, I'm over on House of Cars doing them. I've just tested the new Mazda CX-80. It's big 7-seat SUV. And it is 48, this is 48 litres bigger than that with the 7 seats in place in the Mazda. So, you know, if you're looking for a 7-seater, this is actually bigger than the new Mazda 7-seat SUV. So I think that's pretty decent. So you still get this sort of like false floor, which is nice and sturdy, and obviously it lifts up, and you've still got these 2 boxes underneath here. So charging cables and your sort of like, you know, bits and pieces, you know, for towing. You can throw another number plate in there, like, you know, we've got there, and luggage nets in there, and first aid kits and things. But obviously that can come out, and those can come out to give you more height, if you do need it, of course. Let me just pop my iPad down so I can also show you this, because I've still got the suitcases here. So let's have a look at this. Look, if we were to say you can still get a carry-on stood up that way. That's just 2 carry-ons there. So what could you get there? Another 3? So if you had 7 people plus 5 carry-on suitcases, or, you know, duffel bags or stuff, that's not bad. Or here's another combination for you. We're running out of suitcases soon. There's a large suitcase that goes nicely there. You know, you can put another 2 carry-ons there, or there's a medium one, and that sits up there. So there's lots of space there, even with all 7 seats in place. Okay. However, obviously you can fold the rearmost seats down, and you can do that from back here. So if you pull that tab, they fold down like that, and down there, and there's a roller blind that goes on there, so that's sitting now in its 5-seat configuration, and obviously you've now got much more space. Now, apologies, but I do need to look at the iPad because I will forget. And you do that, let's have a see, that takes you up to 1,340 litres, that space there, which is huge. Now, another interesting thing, people do sometimes ask me as well, so if you're thinking about putting stuff in here, you know, in terms of the load length, let's have a look. So from the back of the tailgate to the backs of those front seats is 1,495 millimetres. So yeah, 1.5 metres in length is your load bay length, you know, when you've got it in the 5-seat mode. I'm going to talk about seats in a little bit when we actually go inside the car, but I just wanted to talk to you about that. So, obviously, you know, you're going to get all of the suitcases, plus loads more in, if you've got it in that mode. And look, because you've got that height of the floor, because the way the seats fold down, it is flat all the way through there. And you can remove those seats. So the 6th and 7th seat you can actually take out completely to give you even more height, and remove that as well. So yes, we've got more practicality in the Buzz. Well done, Volkswagen. Now we get to the part of the review I like to call dignity lost. Okay, when I've got to review a 7-seat and I've got to get in the back of the seats. However, I shouldn't really have too much of a problem with the long wheelbase Buzz, and this is part of the change, obviously, because the access to the rear is actually very good. Now, electric sliding doors, they're standard, and you can operate them from the external handle. There's buttons on the inside on the pillars here. There's also a button for the driver, so they can operate it, and you can also do it from the key as well, the key fob. Now, I folded that bit of the bench forward just so you can see the dignity that I'm about to lose getting in the back here. So you tip that forward and slide it. There you go. How's that? In fact, actually, hang on a second, let me pull that back. Oops, a daisy. That's where it was, okay? Just packs of room. Oh, hang on, I've got a head restraint I need to put up as well. There we go, so you get head restraints in the back as well. I'm 5'8". The roof has just started to come down now. So I would think, you know, somebody slightly taller than me would still be able to fit in here quite nicely. As I say, we had Katie, my daughter, and all her friends in the car yesterday, and they all loved it. In fact, I'm not saying it was a fight to sit in the back, but you know what I mean, you know what kids are like. Up here you've got a cup holder or bottle holder, you've got a little trough that you could put something in, I'm not sure. There is a USB-C connectivity there as well, and you get the little embossed ID.Buzz logo on the side panel there, and vents up at the top as well, which is quite nice too. There's not really any other kind of surprise delight features in the car other than that, but in some respects, do you need it? Well, I'll talk about that in a little second. Now, I said I want to talk about the seats because you can actually get the Buzz as either the standard wheelbase 5-seater still, or you can have it as a 6-seater as well as a 7-seater. So in other words, you can have the middle bench as 2 captain's chairs. Okay, so you've got 2, 2 and 2. And as I say, remember these seats as well also come out, so there's a handle underneath here, and they will, sort of like lift out as well. And as well as that, there's ISOFIX points on these 2 rear seats as well, and there's ISOFIX points on the 2 outer seats in the middle bench, plus I think another one as well in the passenger seat, but I will be corrected on that if I'm wrong. So there is a huge amount of practicality now with the Buzz. However, I still have a little bit of an issue with the car, okay, and it's this. It's not the room, there's plenty of room. Okay, absolutely plenty of room here. Look at it. Flat floor, you can move across, electric sliding doors, lovely, nice armrest, absolutely fine. But where's the innovation here, Volkswagen? You do the multivan. Now the multivan, and if you haven't seen it, is phenomenal in the back. It's got rails along the floor. You've got 6 seats in the back that you can remove, you can slide. There's a table between the front, the middle 2 that you can move all the way into the front. You can slide it back. It rises, it falls. It has tables, it has storage. None of that in here. And this is the car you should have done it with because it's a bespoke EV platform. The multivan is based on a combustion engine car platform. So why could you not do it in here? Where is the innovation? That's my big problem with the Buzz. That's my only issue really with it. I just want it to be better, and it should be. This is fine, but fine isn't really good enough when you already build a car like the multivan, which is superb as a family car. Why have you not done it in here? I don't get it. Even if you have the 2 single captain's chairs, they are just that. They don't swivel around. A Kia EV9, you can have 2, 6-seaters in individual, and the seats swivel in the back, so you can move them round and talk to people in the back. Can't do that in the 6-seat Buzz. They're fixed in position. Well, they don't fix, but you can actually slide them. You can slide these seats. That's it. That's all they do. Slide and recline. And that's my issue. As I say, I just wish they had just pushed the boat out a bit more with the car and just done a little bit something a bit different. That's my only real beef with the Buzz. It really is, because the rest of it's so good. And I just feel it's a real opportunity lost with the car. However, let's move on from that. As I say, you have got plenty of space. You've got these daft tables. I mean, they're no good to man, they're beast, they are. I mean, you're sitting here, you can maybe just have a Marks and Spencer's prawn cocktail sandwich on that, and that's about it. I mean, there's a cutout there for it. I'm not even going to put my water bottle in it, it'll just fall straight through it. So why is that there? And that's what I mean, the multivan's got that console, the cup holders, I don't get it. Why, Volkswagen? Anyway, there's a pocket up there for holding your mobile in. There's another one down there for your Kindle, your iPad or whatever. Is there charging back here? Because that was the other thing that was missing off it. Do you know what? I don't think there is. There isn't any USB-C ports back here. They're right in the back. You need to have a really long cable. No, there's none here. That's another thing. You look at Hyundai and Kia, they've got them on the sides of the seats. Why is it not down at the bottom there or something? Anyway, you do have rear climate control and a vent. You didn't have that before. That's good. However, windows don't open still. There's no sliding window in this. I don't understand that. Again, multivan has that. Why is that? Why is that just a fixed pane of glass, Volkswagen? See what I mean? Sorry, apologies. I've just found the USB-C. Apologies. It's in the door panel. And there is a door pocket there, so you can drop them, some in there, and a bit more down at the bottom there. And of course, obviously, you can step right across because it's a flat floor. Now, as I say, you've got the outer 2 seats have got ISOFIX. This is the individual seat on this side, and that's a 2-seat bench, and that slides as well. And you can also recline as well. So there is that adjustability. But yeah, it could have been a lot better, couldn't it? Oh, there's one more thing I should have said when I was in the back there. You can option it with a panoramic glass sunroof, which is quite lengthy, and it's got that button, swipe button, where it goes either clear or opaque. to let more light in. Now, I quite like something like that. I have a funny feeling that my wife and daughter probably wouldn't. They like a car to feel a bit more cosy, but I think it would flood this cabin in with light and make it feel even more spacious. So yeah, so you can have it with the optional panoramic roof. Right, up here. Well, it's a bit like the outside. Not a lot has actually changed, in fairness. And again, good thing. I think I've always liked the Buzz's interior. I really do. I think this up here is just, this is the practical bit. And I think it should be behind it's the practical bit. That's my kind of beef with it, if you like. But I do like this interior up here. This has changed. Now, if you're a regular viewer, you'll know we've reviewed an awful lot of the updated Volkswagen ID range. And this is one area here that was absolutely sort of like torn apart, you know, when it first came out by people, including ourselves, you know, just saying it's a load of rubbish, it doesn't work particularly well. Volkswagen, in fairness, they have changed a huge amount in here. The software's faster, it's just a bit quicker to respond, it's better, there's no doubt about it. You still get the slider controls. Now again, because I've been driving so much Volkswagen product of late, I'm now getting really used to them. So I don't really have the same issue with them that I once did, and they are backlit here. I still don't think they're the best solution. I still would rather have, you know, sort of like knobs and buttons and stuff. However, as I say, you do get used to it. I will concede that. What I can't concede, however, is, oh, hang on, I've got the steering wheel around the wrong way. Hang on, let me just move the car into drive and turn it that way. There we go. Back in the park. What I can't agree with, however, is this silly touch-sensitive stuff here. This is just ridiculous. These need to be proper buttons. Again, heated steering wheel, so easy to just, you know, knock quickly with your hand as you're turning around a bit or whatever. You know, the same with volume and track search and stuff. Come on, why do we need that? You know, and then when you turn the car off, if our memory serves me correctly, hang on, why is it not? Oh, I can't remember. Anyway, they disappear. So, you know, that's the other thing. Oh, and that's the other thing as well. Remember I was saying in the other review, because this recognises when you sit in it and you put your foot in the brake and it starts, when you get out, it reactivates all the safety stuff you've turned off. However, I'm told there's a setting in here that can stop that doing that. It can stop it, you know, when you get in and out of the car, it doesn't switch it off. So thank you to the person that mentioned that in the comments on the ID7 video, I think it was, so thank you. But if you don't do that, that's what it does. So when you turn off your assistance systems, like your lane keep assist and your speed warning. Oh, I forgot to take my jacket off, or one of the kids can't get the seatbelt on, you get out of the car, that defaults back on because you've left the driver's seat, okay? So, but there is a setting in there, you can turn that off. All right, let me just talk about that very quickly, because you just show me that this is what I do quite like about this system. The assistant system, there's new shortcut buttons across the top here, so if you press assist, immediately you get all the driver assistance systems. So it's dead easy to turn off lane keep assist and speed warning. And the rest of them there, you can, I mean, there is a load of them. Trailer detection, traffic hazard alert, side assist, you know, lane change, that type of thing, adaptive cruise control, drowsiness monitor, attention monitor, all these monitors that we need to have now, because the bureaucrats think that nobody can drive. So that's what it's very easy to turn them off now. So you just go into that and turn it off, okay? And then you get your home button there. So there's all your icons there. Clearer, better colours used, just seems to be slicker in its movement and stuff. Plus you get Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Plus there's a head-up display as well, which is excellent. You know, the navigation system itself, I think is pretty decent. You know, it's all right, but I do tend to default to my usual Google Maps or Apple Maps or Waze when I'm using Nav anyway, so it doesn't really matter. You know, you can go in there to adjust certain vehicles. Oh, hang on. Press that too quickly. You can go in there to adjust your favourites on your vehicle, interior monitoring. You know, if you're going to leave the dog in the car where you're going to use it, you turn off the interior alarm, that type of thing. Position your head-up display, all that's there. Heated seats, 3-stage heated seats on the car. They're controlled from there, and as you saw earlier, heated steering wheel as well. Oh, that's one thing to mention. Steering wheel. So this car's got the option, I think it's called Art Velours. Comfort pack with art velour or something like that. So in other words, I get the black steering wheel. Remember the first one it had a white steering wheel? Gone away from that. You can have it with a black steering wheel. fantastic. So you don't grubby hands gripping a white steering wheel. So that's better. You still get the nice little instrument binnacle here, which is as it is on the ID3 attached to the actual column. So that's ideal. You get the rotary gear selector here, which is like the big column stock rather than one that's on here. They've all moved to this now, but that does mean, as I say, your multifunction on this left hand column is quite in depth, so it does wipers, washing and lights as well. So all of that, as in, you know, main beam and stuff, that's all there. You still got this touch sensitive light pack down on the right hand side here by my right knee for the actual lights itself. And then of course you got your mirrors and your mirrors and your stop that, your mirrors and your door window openers up there. Sorry, I can't get my words out. There's a wireless charging pad down in there, but it's got it's quite thin, and it's. I was trying to put. I've got an iPhone 15 Pro Max, and it wouldn't go in there. It said it wasn't charging. It wouldn't fit in there. So that's only one thing I will say. Maybe that needs to be a bit bigger because phones are getting bigger. But you get a nice bit of storage in front of the passenger there. You get a really big glove box, which is good. Plus you get the upper tray on the door and the lower tray as well. You also get, I'm going to show you this in a second, hang on a second, wait to move these around. You get your fold down cup holders there, so you can have a step through in fairness. But look at this, I tell you what, all the press cars I've had from Volkswagen Audi lately, smoker's pack. I don't know the last time I had a press car that had a smoker's pack in it, but they've all come with smoker's packs. This is called the Buzz box, and this is this storage box that you can take out and move. And there's also a slide out drawer on it as well for more storage. You know, so that is excellent. But that's my beef. Why could that not have that? We could slide into the back. So it's either there or you take it out completely. It'd be great if it was on a rail and you could slide it. Anyway, there we go. You get armrests on the seats now. You get them on both sides as well, though actually that door panel's a bit more comfortable to put your right arm on, in fairness, although you shouldn't drive like that, I know. But visibility is great. Look at it. You know, there's still a... You know, there's a commercial version of this. You know, you still get the ID.Buzz cargo. But it doesn't feel like a van. That's the interesting thing about the Buzz. When you're driving it, and I know vans have got more car-like anyway, but I don't think you're driving like a van with seats in it, you know, that you say maybe you would do, and forgive me for this, but say with the likes of a Citroen Space Tourer or the Peugeot Traveller, those type of cars. So it does feel more car-like in some respects, but you are sat up and you've got this great panoramic windscreen in front of you, plus these front quarter lights. Okay, these pillars are quite thick, but that's fine. But you do get this lovely big vista open out in front of you, and it's a really nice car to sort of like drive. And you get this sort of like Formica wood on the top there just to give it a bit of a lift on the ambience. I wouldn't say the quality's the big improvement that I've seen on things like the ID3 and the ID7. Oh, why is the thing gone, really? Why is the blower gone? Turn that down. Yeah, I wouldn't say the quality's had the massive uplift that the other IDs have had, but it's still not bad in fairness. You know, I don't think it's badly built. You know, there's just some cheaper plastics you can feel as you move down the cabin, but I will forgive it for that. Right, so you get cup holders in there. You've got this centrally mounted Buzz box here where you've got different sections you can take out and move around and such. Obviously individual seats. These ones are electric because that's part of the option pack and it's expensive, and I'll go through that with you in a minute. But yeah, I love the interior up here. I love the front of the Buzz. It's a great car to drive around in. It really is. Good visibility, really comfortable. That's a lot easier to use. This is nice and clear, and there's loads of practicality. Why did you not do that in the back, Volkswagen? Other than that, brilliant. Can't really fault it. Right, so changes as well here, okay, when it comes to battery and charging as such. Because if you go for a short wheelbase 5-seat Buzz, okay, that still gets the 79 kilowatt hour battery that it always did. But these longer wheelbase cars, they get a bigger 86 kilowatt hour battery. Now that pushes the range up to a maximum of 293 miles, according to WLTP figures on the combined cycle. Now I say maximum of that, it will depend on which model you get because of wheels and so forth and such like, obviously. But 293 miles is the maximum that they quote on that on the WLTP cycle. Charging speed, 200 kilowatts. I think that's excellent, I really do. Volkswagen actually quote a 5 to 80% charge, not 10 to 80%, which I think is interesting. And the 5% to 80% charge time is 30 minutes. So if you do take the benchmark of 10% to 80%, that'll be below 30 minutes. And I think that's probably a really, really good thing to concentrate on, because if you think about it, if you're taking your little cherubs on holiday and something like this, the less time you've stopped charging it, the better. Okay, so I think that's a really good thing, so that's excellent. You get an onboard 11 kilowatt charger as standard, and if you've got that 3-phase electricity, maybe at your office or whatever, then you can go from a flat to full in 9 hours. But if it's more like the 7 kilowatt wall box like I've got, then you're looking at 13 hours and 45 minutes. However, disappointingly, a heat pump is still an expensive option. Now, there is a change with this car, even though this is the standard ID.Buzz, because it now has a more powerful motor. It's 286 PS. It was 204. Rear wheel drive, so it's rear mounted motor, and this car will do 0 to 60 now in 7.9 seconds, which I think is ample. Anything under 8 seconds for a family car I see as brisk, let's call it that. Okay, if you do want more, then obviously you can move up to the GTX model at 340 PS, and that's a dual motor car, and that brings the 0 to 60 time down to 6.1 seconds. Now, here's the thing with this GTX situation with these, with the sort of the faster model, Volkswagen, I think, have played a little bit of a, I don't know, not a bad hand, but I don't think they've got it quite right with this, because they're sort of saying, well, it's the electric GTI, GTX is now sort of like the electric equivalent of GTI. I don't think it is. I wouldn't have done that, because let's be honest, 286 PS in this car, and a 0 to 60 time under 8 seconds is more than enough for a family car. Why do you need more than that? Personally, what I would have done is I'd have given it dual motors, I'd have kept the power around about the same, and I'd have raised the ride height and called it a synchro. That's what I'd have done, for, sort of like European climbs, or, North American market or Canada or stuff like that, where you need a 7-seat car with winter tyres that can get you anywhere you need to be without being an SUV. That's what I would have done with this. This GTX stuff, why would you want to drive this in a sporty manner? I just don't see it. Anyway, that's by the by. So that's what this car is. It's a healthy increase over the last car, which was, I say, 204 PS and 0 to 60 time over 10 seconds. So, it's now a sensible sort of performance, if you like, for a family car. I think they've got it absolutely right. Apologies, I'm just behind a learner who's behind a cyclist, so apologies on that. So I think the car is fine. I think the performance increase is perfect. I think they've done the right thing with that. It now feels quick enough. It feels sporty enough. I don't think it needs to be any more than that. I think this is perfectly adequate. Right, long wheelbase. What does that do to sort of like, ride comfort, handling, such like, and all the rest of it? Well, in terms of the ride comfort, it's absolutely fine. I don't think, it's not, you can feel there's this part of the road where they've got all these expansion joints and ridges and stuff. You can feel them, but it's not uncomfortable at all. It deals with them perfectly well. And actually, this car is on 21-inch alloys. You can get them also with 19s or 20-inch alloys. So the ride quality could be better on those smaller wheels, but on the 21-inch, I don't think it's a problem, personally. And I think when you've got people in the car, obviously the added weight just keeps everything down. And again, I had all the kids in the car last night. No one was complaining that it was uncomfortable. No one was saying, oh, it's really uncomfy in the back here. Absolutely fine. So again, ride quality, I think, is good. The steering. The turning circle's a little bit more in the long wheelbase car, as you'd expect. 11.8 metres as opposed to 11.2 metres on the standard wheelbase car. So that's the difference there. But the actual drive of the car, I think, is really, really nice. Now, the refinement, I think, is good. There's a little bit of tyre noise comes from underneath it. That's the main noise, external noise, if you like, coming into the car. So the refinement, I think, is perfectly adequate.
Attention. In 250 yards, closure on A320.
Yes, there is. There's a closure on that road. I know that, but I'm not going that way. So thank you very much for telling me, but I don't need to know that. Anyway, the refinement, very good. Again, sort of like higher speeds on motorways. absolutely fine. No noisier than you would expect, you know, from a big sort of like SUV in that sense. And it's interesting because, you know, a lot of these 7-seater electric cars, you know, such as the Citroen Space Tourer, the Peugeot Traveller, the Vauxhall Vivaro, they are van based, so you expect to have less sound deadening in them. And although you can get a commercial version of this, the Buzz Cargo, it doesn't feel like a van to drive. And that's the other thing I want to talk about, the driving position. I really like this driving position. I was mentioning it earlier, and I know vans have got a lot better, you know, in terms of they feel more car-like, but I think the Buzz just takes it to another level. You do sit quite car-like in here. You know, the driving position is really good. Your vision is fantastic. You know, this big, it feels like you are looking at this big panoramic windscreen. You know, you get the screen, you get the side bits there. The visibility is superb. Big door mirrors, lots of glass around it. Not a problem whatsoever. This is a really lovely car. And although it's a physically big car, it's a very easy car to place. You know, I don't really have any issues at all. And my wife's been driving the car this week as well. Now, okay, she drives normally a big SUV anyway, but even she said, actually, even parking it and, you know, in the railway station car park and things like that, she said, it's not really a problem. Good cameras on the car as well. You know, you get them down the side, you get them at the front, and obviously there's a reversing camera at the rear. So, yeah, I can't complain at all about the manoeuvrability of it. It's very good. My only slight criticism, and I will call it criticism, it's not enough for me to sort of like warrant it, and one of the things I really dislike about it, the brakes take a bit of getting used to. Let me just explain what I mean by that. The pedal at the top of the travel, you start to slow down. If you're slowing down, say for a roundabout, or you're coming up to a junction, I noticed it last night a lot, you know, when I was driving through Woking on our way to the birthday event. You're coming up to a roundabout with other cars behind you at a junction, you think, I'm slowing down, oh no, I need to slow a bit further. And as you push it through what you think is just an ental push, they almost seem to grab, the brakes almost seem to grab you. You get this little, it throws you forward a little bit. It's a bit odd. I think it's just something you have to get used to. I don't think it's a problem. I think it's just the way the brakes work, because obviously as it transitions from regen to friction braking, that's probably where that step is. That could probably do with a little bit of fine tuning, I'd suggest. I just think that's what it is. It's just as you push through that last little bit you need, it just tends to grab and just really stops you. So they're good enough, the brakes, but it's just as they transition from regen to physical brakes, it just feels a tiny little bit grabby at the very last bit. That's what I'll say. Okay, that's really my only criticism, if you like. That's really my only thing I can say. You know, that could be better in terms of the actual drive of the car, because the rest of it's really nice. It's quiet, it's comfortable. It's, you know, as I say, the suspension's good on the car. The performance is much better now. So you put your foot down, it does pick up its skirts and go. And as I say, even loaded with people in it, okay, they're only wee kids, but you know what I mean. There was certainly adequate enough performance. You know, so I was dealing with last night, so there was no issue with that. However, you've got your ubiquitous driving modes, and they are Eco, Comfort, Sport and Individual. Now bear with me a second, because this is the width restriction I'm going through here, and this is a big old bus to get through here, and I'm conscious of these mirror finished alloys, and that's the kind of thing I would do if I wasn't concentrating. There we go. Yeah, so Eco, Comfort, Sport. So if you go into the Sport mode, then again it's the same thing as we had before. It needs you to be a bit more deliberate on the throttle, but there's certainly a healthy added dose of squirt there. It's nice, it's quite good. It's not, you know, it's not an explosion, you know, under your foot. It's just nice. Yeah, I quite like it. And it's not often I say that with sport modes, you know, I normally say I just don't bother with them. But actually it does give it a little bit more of a kind of boost, if you like. So yeah, so that's that. And then obviously in individual mode, you can set the car up how you actually like it. You can go into a driver profile here and set it all up. Just go into the cogs. Driving dynamics and comfort, steering comfort, so you can change them to sport and such like and all the rest of it, or have the steering in comfort, the drive in sport, and turn the engine sound off, or, you know, the electric engine sound that they have on them, so you can do all that. Personally, I wouldn't bother. And then the last thing I want to mention, as I did before, you know, your assist modes, they're now really easy to get to. So you just press the assist and then you click them off. There you go, job done. The two off that I want, they're right at the top, and that's it. What's not to like? Another thing is, it just makes you smile when you drive it. And other people like it. You're doing other people. You know, you're giving them something to smile about as you're driving around in your Buzz, in your big Volkswagen microbus. It's really good. I really like the drive of the car. You know, there's not a lot more to say. It feels like a nice big car to drive. It's comfortable. My brother-in-law, who was with us last night, you know, at Katie's party, when he saw it, he said, "Oh, we're going to Cornwall at Easter." He said, "Oh, you're going to take it to Cornwall at Easter?" I'm not, but I'd love to. It'd be brilliant. It's just exactly what you want. You pile everything in the back. You know, you put your bike rack on the tow bar on the back, couple of bikes on it, or as I say, a cargo box. Katie in the back with the dog, you know, Liz next to me. Loads of space, loads of storage, quiet, comfortable. It's brilliant. I just wish they'd done more with the interior. I just wish they'd made it as versatile and as clever as the multivan, because I've had a multivan. I did Scotland in a multivan a few years back when it came out. We all went up to Scotland and not one of us didn't love that car. It was so good. If they did that in the Buzz, it'd almost be the perfect family car. As it is, to drive, I can't fault it. It's nice. It's a healthy update on what went before. You know, for the price premium, which we're about to discuss. See, there was that grabby brake there. For the price premium that we're about to discuss, I don't know why you wouldn't have this long wheelbase car. I just don't. To me, this is the one you'd buy. I wouldn't bother with the GTX. Stick with the standard mid-range car in long wheelbase form and stick some options on it. And what you have then is a perfect family car. There you go. You can forget your SUVs, buy one of these. Right, I want to talk pricing now, okay? And again, sorry, forgive the iPad because there's quite a lot to discuss and I want to make sure that I get it all right. So there's 3 trim levels on the ID.Buzz. So you get 2 wheelbases, obviously standard wheelbase and long wheelbase, 3 seating configurations, 5 seat, 6 seat, 7 seat, and 3 trim levels, okay? So we're just going to do sort of like minimum and maximum prices, if that makes sense. I won't go through the whole range if you like. But you start with the Life trim, which in the standard 5-seat standard wheelbase form kicks the range off at £59,035, okay? And that maxes out at £59,545 for the same trim level with 7 seats and a long wheelbase. Now I had to double check that, so that's just over £500 premium for 2 extra seats, the longer wheelbase and a bigger battery. That's a no-brainer, isn't it? Why would you buy the standard car? Unless you know you weren't able to get the longer one in a driveway or something. But for me, that's a no-brainer. An extra 500 quid to get all of that extra space and a bigger battery. Then you move to this trim level, the middle one, the Style, okay? And that's 63,835 for the 5-seater with a 79 kilowatt hour battery to 64,345 for this one, which is the long wheelbase 7-seat with the 86 kilowatt hour battery. However, this has got quite a few options on it, and that's where you might get caught out, so just watch yourselves, okay? So this one's got 21-inch alloys, the retractable tow bar, comfort seat package, and the 2-tone paint, which isn't cheap in fairness, okay? And that takes the total price of this car as tested to £71,615. Okay, but if you stuck with the standard wheels and you did away with the 2-tone, I mean that's I think it's £2,500 for the 2-tone paint. You know, so I mean, and again, if you went with the standard seats, you know, you're still mid-60s for that. Right, GTX, so the dual motor car. Again, you can have that in a standard wheelbase 5-seat form, and that's £67,345 or £67,945 before options in the 7-seat long wheelbase form. You're just going to buy the 7-seater car, aren't you? That's just what makes sense. Now, competition. Right, let's pop that away. When I first tested the Buzz, it was difficult to find sort of like a real competitor for the car. In some respects, But now, obviously, we're a few years on, the electric car market has grown substantially and there's lots more cars available. And there are a lot of 7-seat electric cars available to you. In some respects, depending obviously on the type of car you want, because you either go cheaper and a lot smaller in some ways, or you go more expensive and a little bit bigger. I'll explain. So of course, if you're just looking for 7 seats, because that's what you need, and maybe your budget doesn't extend to the Buzz, then of course you've got things such as the Citroen e-Berlingo, the Peugeot e-Rifter, and of course the Vauxhall Combo. They're 7-seat cars in much smaller form. And then of course there's sort of like the slightly mid-sized SUVs. A couple of those now offer 7 seats. So like the Peugeot, the E5008, really good car. Mercedes-Benz EQB, they're 7-seaters, but not to the same extent as this, not to the sort of like this full-size MPV style of car. So if you're looking at a full-size MPV style of car, then you're back to likes of Peugeot, Citroen, and Vauxhall with the Traveller, the Space Tourer, and the Vivaro. Those cars. Or you can go more expensive than the ID.Buzz, because obviously Mercedes-Benz offer the EQV 300. Now I'm going to be testing that car in a few weeks. Here's the thing, I made a bit of a boo-boo. I thought about getting them both in for a twin test and I booked them in and I got the dates mixed up. So that's going to be another road test you're going to see in a few weeks' time. But there's the revised EQV as well to think about. So maybe while you watch this, wait in a few weeks' time, watch the EQV one, then maybe make your mind up. But that is a more expensive car, but it is like the Buzz, a full-size MPV style of car. Or you can go full-size SUV now, because there are 2 which offer the seating for up to 7, which is again from Mercedes-Benz, the EQS SUV, and of course Volvo's new EX90 that's coming out. But be prepared, because if you want either of those, then your checkbook's going to have a space in it for 6 figures. So here's what we like, and also what we don't like about Volkswagen's ID.Buzz long wheelbase. Well, we still love its design. It's incredibly practical. Its interior is hugely spacious. There's now improved performance. There's a bigger battery with more range on this long wheelbase version. And actually there's a very little price premium to pay for the extra space and bigger battery. We don't like, well, it still annoys us that the interior isn't as versatile and, dare I say, as unique as we feel it should be. We're not sure the GTX variant is really needed. And of course, it's still not cheap. The Buzz is better. Of course it is. There's more space inside for more people to enjoy it with you. It goes faster now and it goes further thanks to a bigger battery. And of course, importantly, it still looks as cool as it does. And for me, it's that last one that's really, really important, because let's be honest with you, there's a lot of these kind of retro style cars out now, especially in the electric car world, and they all seem to be getting it right, I think. You know, the Fiat 500 electric, the Mini, I know it's controversial, not everyone loves it, but I do think the Mini's a cool little car. And of course, the brilliant Renault 5, and of course we've got obviously the Buzz. And for those people that call electric cars soulless, how can you look at something like a Renault 5 or a Fiat 500 or the Buzz and say that it's a soulless machine? Because it just makes you smile. And that's what it's all about, I think. This car really makes you feel good when you drive it, and now they've improved it, so what's not to like? Well, it's not perfect in fairness, because I still think they should have done something better with that interior in the back. There's a space for it. Why have they not been as innovative as the rear as they are with their own multivan? That's the thing that really keeps coming back to me. As good as it is, it could be better. And also, I'm not really sure you need the GTX performance model. For me, a better idea would have been maybe to raise the ride height, dual motor car, and call it a synchro, like the old Transporter synchro. You know, for people that live in the, like the snowier climes of Europe or North America or somewhere. That might have been a better idea. But leaving all that aside, there is no doubt in my mind that what Volkswagen have done is made the Buzz even better and reaffirmed our love affair with the Volkswagen microbus. Thank you for watching another road test review on AutoEV. As always, please make sure you are subscribed to the channel, and once you've done that, press the little bell button that's down below, because then that's the way you'll be notified when our next video is uploaded and it's gone live. If you have enjoyed this week's video, and obviously I hope you have, then obviously give it a little thumbs up, and don't forget, leave me your thoughts in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think about Volkswagen's ID.Buzz. Do you have one? What made you buy it? Did you buy one instead of a big 7-seat SUV? Did you buy an SUV instead of a Buzz because there wasn't a 7-seat option at the time? Would you now reconsider this because of the 7-seat? Do you have a multivan? Would you choose this over a multivan or a multivan over this? There's a question for you. Let me know in the comment section down below, Now remember, we're also across on social media as well, so Facebook, X, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, we're there as well, we're down with the kids. So give us a follow there as well, because that would certainly help us. And maybe you are in the market for an electric car, but maybe you're not looking at a new ID.Buzz. Maybe you're thinking about a second-hand Buzz, you know, maybe one that's maybe a year or two old, but you want to know what we thought about it back then. How do you find out? Well, here's how. Stay on the AutoEV YouTube channel, and at the top there you'll see a little microphone, a little magnifying glass. Type the name of the car that you're interested in there, and if it's been a new electric car in the UK in the last 5 or 6 years, we'll have subjected it to the road test that actual car buyers trust, and that's important. They trust us when it comes to choosing their next electric car. And of course, folks, that is the AutoEV one. Thanks again for watching. Thank you for supporting the channel. I'll see you again soon.